this computer.
Background.
It's recording, everybody.
You
Welcome
got
to
it.
welcome to the Recruiting Animal Show. Let's try a little music.
That's working perfectly.
Yeah, perfectly.
I can't hear anything.
Okay, forget about the music. Okay, hi everybody. Recruiting Animal here. Well, let me find myself. You know what? The guest has been. This guy's been a talker on the show for like 100 times, and he shows up today when he's the guest late. Can you imagine what is going on? I don't get it. Late. And now
No
he's
respect.
not even using a background. He's got his shitty room there. He's showing us his wall to make the show look bad. I believe he's been paid to screw me up on this. Okay, I just want to say it. That's a little better.
Yeah.
Thanks.
In the cutthroat podcast.
Yeah,
world.
I got a lot of competition. Okay, and so somebody paid him. Come late, and he's using the excuse. He says, "Well, I usually do you do a monologue, Recruiting Animal. They're boring. I come late, so I don't have to. Even if I'm the guest, I'm coming late. Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. No, it doesn't. Don't anybody ever do this to me again. Okay."
All right.
And I have to tell you, I've had a lot of problems with people on social media today. So that was the last
Dude, I saw
thing
that.
that was the last thing I needed to, break the camel's back, so to speak. Anyway, this guy's name is Michael G. Cox. At Mike_recruiter on Twitter, if you want to criticize him. And believe me, today, I'm ready to criticize him. I was in a good mood for him, okay? Special guest.
Bring it on.
Okay, and if you want to see who he is on LinkedIn, MikeRecruiter.com. He doesn't have a good LinkedIn address, so I had to buy that.
I got a new one, by the way. What do you think of this one? The Sales Recruiter.
That's good. Okay,
That's good, right?
He took a lesson.
TheSalesRecruiter.com. Check me out.
Took a lesson from me. I got just the window light coming in today. It makes me look like death warmed over because it's just gray out there. Okay, I'm sorry, everybody. I am alive. I didn't come back from the grave, and I know I'm taking a lot of time to get the show going. Okay, so
your looks and mine don't really improve or detract from the show.
Your light doesn't look so good either today. It was better last week. Trust me. Okay. So, this show is already screwed up. So I won't even do this guy. He says, okay, he's a sales recruiter. That's his specialty. This is what he says about himself. I did the research. He said, I specialize in placing Sagittarius sales reps when the moon is waning and Jupiter is in Capricorn. Okay, I don't know what that means.
I really don't know anything about what you just said.
Oh yeah. He wrote that, and I can prove it. You wrote it in your favorite group, Headhunters and Boxers or whatever.
Oh,
on
really?
Facebook. Okay.
Okay.
You do a lot of posting.
If I wrote something like that, I was definitely making fun of somebody else.
Oh no, you weren't. Okay. Okay, and you do some kind of work there as well. You do some kind of training for DSP.
Mm-hmm.
What's that all
David
about?
Stephan Patterson.
What do you do there?
Yeah, so he's got a few different programs, and he has one called the Accelerator. And in this Accelerator, a piece of that program is the sales aspect of recruiting. And it's called the Dojo. And I lead that dojo quite often. And basically, it's a safe place where people that are in his program
show up. Scratching your toes while you're on the show?
I was going to put on the dojo background because it is done on Zoom, and it's a live call when people come in and they bring their cold calling script and their voice messaging scripts and all of that stuff. And we basically break that stuff down and rebuild it.
How much?
And then they do a lot of live reps.
How much does it cost?
Oh, I have no idea what his program costs, man.
Baloney, you don't. Okay.
I'm not on the payroll there.
Okay, I have the next question is do you want to plug anything? That was my I gave you my opportunity to plug, okay? TheSalesRecruiter.com, if you need a good sales recruiter. Yeah. Normally, I would vouch for this guy, but he came late
Normally.
for the show when he was the guest. I am not going to forget that, okay? I will not.
That's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's what someone said. Let's get to it finally. I'm looking for an email checker that automatically does a syntax check and validation.
Uh-huh.
You know what you recommended? I know. Do you know?
Oh, shit. No, I don't. What did I
Are
recommend?
you
This
kidding?
is fun.
You recommended
I-
mailtester.com.
Oh,
You
yeah,
recommended
that'll work.
mailtester.com. Do you use that? Does it work
Yeah.
for you?
I honestly, I use it rarely. Normally, where I'm, that's just a test. You think that's the email address? Plug it in there, and it'll actually ping it to see if it's an actual working email. But to find emails, what I'm using today is Seamless, but the free version, because that thing is damn expensive. Seamless.ai. So I've been messing with that one, and it seems to be pretty accurate.
What do you get for the free version? Usually it's like, almost nothing, right?
Yeah. But so I really don't I don't lead with email first. So it's the email address is not as important to me. I usually, I'm in sales recruiting. I usually do a call, a phone call, and then I'll follow up with LinkedIn messages. And then eventually, if I'm not getting a response and they're not screaming at me to, leave them alone, then maybe I will also email.
Hold on. You mean you use LinkedIn messages, not in mail, messages before you'll go to email? Why is that? What's wrong with you today? What's wrong? You can't answer a question. Oh, what's happening?
I can answer it.
You're screwing me, okay? I want you to know it.
It was two seconds, if that, of dead air. I like LinkedIn because it's almost like an instant messenger. It works more closely to text messaging, which works much better than email. So I find that I get better response rates there. I can see when many of my prospects and candidates are viewing what I'm sending them, if they've happened to have left that on. I feel like I have more control there, and it's more personal, and you can send voice messages through the app a lot easier, and I send video through that. It's just much easier.
And you use it on your desk. You just mentioned app. You use it on your desktop or on your phone?
Both. So for video, I'll use my phone, or I'll use Loom, and that I'll do on my desktop, so I can record what I'm trying to show them with me in a little bubble on the side, and that I have much better response rates on that, because even the negative, because it when I send that Loom video, or I send a video through my phone, it's usually going through as a GIF. Like they can see it moving, and shiny objects get more attention.
They can see it moving. It's a video. Don't you talk as well?
Yes, but I'm saying when they initially see it, if I send them a Loom video, it goes out and it's sitting in that messaging section in GIF form, so they can see me moving the screen.
Yeah, okay.
This gets more attention.
What does it actually say? Give us an example.
So if I'm reaching out to let's say a prospective candidate, I'll send them first of all, many moons ago, I will have already connected with a lot of these prospects. So
in what way? What
does
that mean? I connected with them. What does that mean? Did you have a job? That's not a first contact then.
Correct. So what I do, even today, I'm running a program where I am connecting with individuals today. So I'm doing, hey, here we go. I'm doing
I don't know this guy,
request.
Rudy. Rudy's never called in before. Hi, Rudy. You're welcome to open. I'll just say you're welcome to open your camera if you like, but you don't have to, okay? Go ahead, Michael G. Cox. I shouldn't have interrupted you. I'm just not used to Zoom yet. Alan Floor, look who's here. Okay, finally showed up for you. Okay. Yeah.
Rudy left. What up,
Okay.
Alan? So
Alan, okay.
what
Finish
I
off.
do is I'm always connecting with individuals that are either candidates or prospects, and then we're already first degree connection.
What does that mean? You're not explaining, Michael G. Cox. I'm always connecting.
Yeah, on
So
LinkedIn,
hold on.
I connect with them.
No, hold on. You do
On
a search.
LinkedIn.
Wait a sec. Let me specify. You do a search for just people who you might be interested in at some point in the future, and then you send them a message without any
Connection request.
That's what Danny Cahill calls an institutional marketing call or recruiting call. Okay. So what's in that initial message? Hey, I'm Michael G. Cox. I'm a sales recruiter. I see that you're in sales. We might do business together at some time in the future. I just want you to know who I am. Is that what's in it?
No. So I'll say, hey, recruiting animal. Although we have, and I always send this to second degree connections only. So I'll say, although having connections in common is a good thing, I'd welcome the opportunity to connect directly. Have a good one, Michael. And that's it. And I send that out. And I get a pretty high positive response rate. And then the next message will say, hey, man, thanks for connecting. And that's it. And then the next message may say, now, depending on what segmentation this is, if it's a hiring manager or a VP of sales, I'll share some information of value to them.
Like what?
Now,
like what? First off, why are you only so this thing with the second level candidates or people connections, that's just a ploy, right? It's just a ploy.
No,
who cares?
No,
if
it's
you
not
already
a ploy.
can
It's
see
creating.
Them. What difference does what difference does it make if they're a first level or a second level? None.
It's a difference. No. Not
okay, let Alan talk. You look. By the way,
Go ahead,
look
Alan.
like a ghost.
Like an angel.
Yeah, you look like a ghost.
How's that? Yeah.
So I don't care what you look like, but make sure your audio's okay. Go ahead.
My audio okay, Animal?
It's okay, but it's not great. Go ahead.
Oh, Jesus. All right. So second level connections statistically end up giving you better referrals over time because they don't necessarily have as closeness to you. And if you can show them the value to them, chances are good something will come of it. I've seen it happen over the years. There was
I've heard of that too. Your extended network is a better source of referrals because they know people that you don't know, right? Farther. But what's the point of making them first level contacts? That's what he's doing. It seems to me just like a ploy. Hey, it's a reason to get in touch with them when you really have no reason. Is that what it is, Alan? Or is there some other secret that you're trying to reveal here that I'm missing?
No, it's not a secret, Animal. It's common sense. It's building out the network. It's getting to know more people.
It's common sense, and I don't get it. Hey, Rich.
It's not that
why
common.
Don't you open your
Clearly,
camera?
It's not
you
that
don't
common.
have to, Rich. You don't have to open your camera.
Sense.
But we all know you, okay?
What's happening?
Happy birthday.
Rich.
Hey, thank you.
Hey, man.
Okay. Wait a second. Alan Fleur, everybody's having trouble today. The guest comes late, okay? Then Alan Fleur is trying to justify something the guest says he does, but he's having trouble getting it out. What's the reason you said fine, the extended network might be a good source of referrals. What's the reason for making them first level contacts on LinkedIn?
So you build it more, you build it better, you're looking out for them. If Michael G. Cox knows Rich and Rich and I connect, and then I start working with Rich and helping him out, then Rich is going to help me out when I need it.
Yeah, I don't help out people because they're first level contacts. They just happen to be first level. I mean, if I got a search that they're good for.
Whoa. When was the last time you did a search?
Hey, I've never made a recruiting call, everybody. I'm not in recruiting. Listen to him.
He
and I got news for you. Listen to Jerry as well. I've never left my apartment, okay? And I don't know any women either.
He said basement.
I thought Animal lived off the royalties from the show. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
but
royalties, the money I get paid for doing this. Hey, I am rolling in dough. Yeah.
Too funny.
Okay,
Hey,
maybe we should give the guest a
chance.
chance.
Here's a good reason, Animal. Here's a good reason why reach out only to second degree connections when I'm doing this connection campaign stuff. I can say very easily, hey, it's like social proof. We've got connections in common. You got friends, I got friends, they're friends, we should be friends is basically what I'm saying. When I say, although having connections in common is a good thing, I'd welcome the opportunity to connect directly.
Okay,
Now-
you know, everybody, just the listeners, these guys don't want to admit it. It's just a ploy, and I have no complaints with that. I mean, there's no reason to do it, except it's a good excuse
Yes,
to get in
there's a
touch
good
with
reason.
somebody.
It's
I've always wondered,
making-
I'm going to connect with you. You meet someone at a conference, I'm going to connect with you on LinkedIn. Who cares? If I need you, I'll find you
Here.
anyway. Yeah.
No, no, no,
Let
no,
me
no,
explain.
no.
Let me explain the reason why I like to make them first degree connections. Response rates when you send emails, positive or negative, suck. InMail, the first thing you see is that title, somebody, trying to send me something, sell me something, and it gets ignored. People just ignore InMail. So when I have a first degree connection, they see it and they see that we're connected and they pay just a little bit more attention to it. And if I'm trying to win this little battle of 1,000 baby steps in this process, all I need is that little bit more attention.
Okay,
So
you know what I like
when
best?
it's a first degree, they
Okay.
pay more attention.
What I like best is that you don't care about email addresses because you use this technique. And everybody's always wondering, I mentioned you, Rich Rosen. Okay, first off, recruiteral.com. I bought him one as well. Recruiteral.com. And what's Cornerstone's, what's your URL, Rich?
Cornerstonesearch.com.
Okay. And Rich is, according to Forbes, I think, one of the greatest recruiters in the world. And I believe it,
That
too.
has walked the face of the planet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
believe it. But Rich, I brought you up last
I don't know
week.
how many times I voted for him, but
Yeah,
hey, man.
me
I
too,
know,
and
I know.
Yeah.
Just like the regular election, the more votes more times you can vote, the better, right?
It's like that guy, the first guy on
I had my dog vote for you.
America
I
Loves You,
know.
a video. Anyway, Rich, I mentioned you when Super Sorcerer Aaron Lintz was here last week, and I said that Rich Rosen claims that he's used every tool for email addresses, but there's no point in using them because if they can find them, he can find them himself on Google. Is that true that I was?
No, that's exactly true. I mean, I've tried every tool out there. I've got
You
6.
can say that about
like this
everything.
now. But yeah, you can, like, work emails, you can absolutely find on Google. There's no need to pay for someone to find work emails, unless you just want to do it that much quicker. Like, I think I paid $50 for the lifetime access to find that lead. All right, it finds all the work emails, a lot of personal and some phone numbers, but it's a last resort. There's a cheapie. That one's great. But if you go to most companies, you go type in, ABC email address, corporate email, it's going to come up. You can figure out the
Yeah.
string. Hunter
Okay,
IO.
so you're a guy, you don't believe in spending money on email
no.
finders. You figure out the emails yourself as a rule. Is that what you're saying?
He said for work emails.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
work emails. For
Work emails are easy.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
those
are
are
you
easy.
are you using personal emails, or is
If-
that a secret now that you, I spend $1 million a year to get the personal emails, but I'm not going to tell you that.
I always try to find the personal email. And like I said, I've got like a half a dozen different tools I use for those to try to find the cell numbers and the personal email.
You want to tell us now that you're here?
Well,
I
that's
can
the
leave
big
you.
secret. I don't know. What kind of royalties are we getting for this now? I don't know.
Okay, forget it. I don't need that. You're not the guest. You'll be the guest another time.
No, I don't care. I tell you all the time. I published them even. They're but I use pre-contact tools, Swordfish, Lucia. What else do I use?
Yeah, isn't that funny? I just want to point out, everybody, the guy said, "Oh yeah, I find that it's not 100% true, but pretty true.
No,
I find all
what
this
I
stuff
said-
myself,
what I-
and it's
what
not
you
true.
said, you're right. What
It's
you
not
said
true
is
at
not
all.
100% true.
It's not true at all." Hey,
What you said, what you said was not 100% true. What I said was very true. For work emails,
Yeah.
you don't need to pay to find work emails.
Yeah. Okay.
Personal
yeah.
emails, you got to pay
If you
for.
qualify what you're saying,
Well,
in a
if
secret
you-
way, yeah. Oh, that's the absolute truth. Yeah, you and Trump. Okay, look, I got news for you, Rich. It's everybody. He's down in the corner here for me, but I noticed when the recording plays, the guy's in a different place. So I'm pointing to him down here, and he's up there in the end. So anyway, Rich, I just want to give you some advice. Okay. the background, your wall is not so pretty. Okay.
Right.
You might want to use one of the fake
Yeah.
backgrounds. Okay. It might be a little better. You don't have to.
Hey, I was
I
just
can- I'll send you mine.
planning on listening in while I did some work, had some lunch, but you know.
Okay. Okay.
was-
I won't ask
Because
you
that's
any more.
what
I
this
won't
is
ask
here,
you any
Randy.
more
That's what he's
questions.
saying.
Okay. But I got to tell you, when the greatest recruiter
Yeah,
in
about
the
this
world
mess.
shows up, when the greatest recruiter in the world shows up on your show, you got to ask him something. Okay. You know, here's something I got into big trouble with today. Okay. And you guys, I actually feel comfortable talking about it with you. But first, I'll ask the question.
And everybody that's listening.
Michael G. Cox. Okay. How do you turn off rejected candidates?
How do I turn them off?
Yeah, you
Oh,
know,
how
hey,
do I
buddy,
tell
you
them
didn't get the
no?
job. Buzz off. I'll
I'm not
connect you
trying
on
to-
LinkedIn again sometime. What do you say?
All right. Now, so I used to do this a lot more in corporate recruiting, but basically what I do is I'll tell them, all right, during the interview process, which is now over, and I've said this before on the show, during the interview process, which is now over, you failed to demonstrate a level of sales expertise in this area that would have ranked you above all the other candidates that were in play. So you weren't selected for the role. But I'm being careful not to say, hey, you ain't got it. I'm not talking about you. It's just you weren't ranked above everybody else. So it doesn't have to be difficult. And
Okay, and do they ever say, hold on, do they ever say, well, Michael G. Cox, what specifically was it about me that
He
knocked
told
me
them.
out?
Yeah,
He just told them.
and I'll
What
tell
was it?
them.
Okay,
He
Okay.
just said.
Check it out, man. Here it comes. During the interview process, which is now over,
Yeah.
you failed to demonstrate a level of expertise in, I don't know, BPO sales that would have ranked you above all the other candidates. You failed to do that during the interview process. I ain't saying you ain't got it.
Michael G. Cox,
But-
I got it. Okay, they misunderstood.
You got it, and I don't doubt that. But during the interview process, it
Oh, so
it
okay.
didn't
So
come
your
out.
thing is you agree with whatever this person says about themselves, the candidate, and you blame all the bad stuff
No,
on your client. And my client's crazy. I got no
No, no,
control.
no, no,
I
no,
know
no,
you're
no.
the
I
best.
blame you.
No,
I blame
Fantastic.
you for not demonstrating it during the interview process. How's that?
He's saying, hey, Eddie Van Halen, you know what? You failed to demonstrate during the interview that you can play rock and roll because you were only talking about flamenco guitar that you've been doing for the last year and a half because you like it. And that's why Jimmy Page got the job.
Okay. You know what? You guys are useless. You don't give straight answers.
Excellent example.
Hold on. But here's what happened on Twitter today. Okay. Amy. I show a lot of respect for Amy. She's an honored guest on this show many, many times. Okay. She said when she has to turn off a candidate, she cries. She cries. And I posted on Twitter, I said, I bet no male recruiter has ever said that he cries when he turns off a candidate, rejects a candidate. And man, all of a sudden, the knives were out. All these macho guys were showing how feminist they were to attack me, like I don't respect women. Okay, that is baloney. But I'm right about that.
Well, you
No
did
guy.
make the mistake of saying something public.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. I just know my experience. I know Jerry says I've never talked to a woman, but my experience, they cry a little more than men. Okay?
To be clear, I think he meant face to face.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Here's the other thing. Okay, now, gee, what was it? I have to skip what I was saying, but I'll go to something related.
That's right.
Oh no, this guy Gurgly. Here's a guy. His name is Gurgly Oros. He's going to be a guest on the show. He speaks English like an American, but he's got this name Gurgly. Okay, Gurgly. Okay. Now, man, I could go to jail for that. Okay, except that he's got the same background as I do. Anyway, well, that doesn't make a difference. I'm a self-hater. Okay, so here's the thing. He says that calling a candidate personally who's rejected is absolutely, those are the best recruiters who do that. The recruiters who don't call a candidate who's rejected are bad. That's number one. And he says every
No,
recruiter.
I said maybe weak or fearful, afraid.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
It's like, dude,
that's-
if you spoke to somebody directly
Yeah.
on the phone or submitted somebody for an opportunity, and then you reject them through an email or, I don't know, dude, that seems just
you know what?
weak.
I was so mad when the show started because this guy came late. Okay. But now I'm here with my buddies. I'm feeling great. Okay. I'm having a good time. I don't care what anybody else says. I like it. Okay. Now, but anyway, but this is what I dug up.
All
that
right, go ahead.
Michael G. Cox said in print.
Oh, boy.
Okay? I can prove everything.
You're in
Okay, I'm no
trouble.
dummy.
This was coming. I knew it was coming.
He
Let's
said,
have it.
only someone who has lived 100 years can come close to understanding the pain of being a recruiter of human beings.
I can drink to that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
what is it the pain? Is it turning people off who want a job and saying, look, sorry, buddy, you don't get it. You didn't show yourself well in the interview. Is
But
that
that's only one thing.
well, Alan, let's you
No,
answer
here's
the
the thing, dude.
question. You answer for him,
hold
much
on.
like before. You answer.
No, hang on. Here's the thing. A big piece of our business, of our livelihood, relies upon individuals that are not controllable. You can say, hey, this is a great opportunity. Would you agree? They agree. They review everything. Everything lines up perfectly, and then they just ghost you. They don't show up for an interview, and they make you look bad. So you start to think that in human beings, your product in making that connection is inherently unreliable. So yeah, it drives you to drinking a little bit.
Okay, so you're saying you don't have good control of your candidates. Is that what you're saying?
No.
You don't have good control over human beings.
Yeah.
Who are your candidates? Is that what you're saying, Michael G. Cox? Candidate
Yes.
control? That's a bullshit idea. Because Jerry says that's a baloney. He doesn't like me speaking for him, although I've heard him say the same things 100 times. He said that is a myth. Candidate control, you don't have it. Does anybody want to talk about that? That Michael G.
Adam,
Cox
more
said,
importantly, is my background better now?
thank you. Yes.
I didn't
You're
want
not
to
there,
offend.
Woodsy. You're in Vermont or somewhere.
That's
Yeah.
a good one right there. Alan got it nailed. Right
There you
there.
go, exactly.
Is that all? Is
Everything's
that it,
fine.
or were you going to talk about the pain of recruiting, Rich?
The pain of recruiting. I just posted this in one of the posts yesterday. I did a police wellness call for a candidate. The guy was the other day. First
You
time-
did do it.
I did.
That's
I literally
awesome.
did. The guy actually
That's
thanked me. He finally called me, and because I told him, I'm like, dude, the police are on their way.
Okay,
so-
no, you didn't set it up properly. He had a candidate, and the guy was not
Yeah.
answering. He
Give
was
us the
not
background
answering,
there.
right?
Yeah.
What?
He,
And you were-
he was not, he had accepted the job, was supposed to start next week, and he really wanted this job. Long story short, he was offered the job. He was going to get offered the job last year. The CEO decided not to hire anyone. As soon as the job came open, they're like, hey, call this guy back. We want him. So he
Yeah.
really wanted the job, signed the papers while I was on vacation in Hawaii. And all of a sudden he just kind of went silent when the client called him. I had called him, and from last Tuesday night. And then he finally called me back, and he's like, listen, my mother-in-law just passed away. My
No,
wife
hold
just
on.
had
No,
a-
you didn't say. So you called the cops on him? You
Oh
called the
yeah,
cops.
that was getting to all this
Getting
stuff. This is all its excuses. Whatever. I did call the cops on him. The cops went and checked. After waiting a half an hour on the fucking phone with the San Jose police to get to someone to pick up the phone at the San Jose, half an hour. Can you believe that? It's
Yes.
yeah, seriously.
It's a
It's
publicly
insane.
run organization.
It's horrible. So anyway, the guy is like, he thanked me because I'm like, dude, this was not your MO. This is totally out of character for you. I mean, what the fuck is going on? And he's like, listen, I appreciate you calling because it's totally out of character. I've never done anything like this. I literally was having a panic attack
Harsh.
because of all this change going on. From getting his kid got knocked up, basically or knocked up someone else, I should say, his mother-in-law, his wife quitting her job, all this stuff at once. Even though this was a huge race, he's like, I can't do it. And he felt horrible because there's no logical reason. He even said why I'm not doing it.
He's
which-
not taking the job? He's not
No.
taking the job?
No, he didn't even take a counteroffer for the job.
I got to tell you
take
something.
the job.
That was a red flag anyway. Here's a guy saying,
Well,
I can't-
so
I can't-
even
No.
after you
It's a
followed
red
up
flag
with him
after
with the
the
cops,
fact. Yeah.
But first of all,
Still didn't take the gig.
Alan Floor, I like your background, by the way. Okay, I
Yes.
like
Love it,
that. Now there's a reason for you to look so ghostly. You died in that. You died in that fire. Okay,
Any better
or
than-
else you're burning in hell. Man, that's more like it. Okay.
Well, probably.
And
we're
I just
recruiters.
want to, everybody says I don't give good lessons on this show. We don't teach you anything. Rich Rosen just gave you something I haven't heard anywhere else. If somebody's ghosting you, call the cops on them. Hey,
Yeah.
hey,
They may be dead, man. Well, you don't know. You may be
You
doing
gotta
them a
get
favor.
Now, let's be specific here. You don't swat them.
You
Okay?
don't swat them.
Don't-
Yeah.
yeah.
You
no,
don't do a
that
Call
would,
of Duty
that
playing in
would
the
kill them.
background.
They'd be in hell with Alan.
Yeah.
Alan, are you raising your hand? Did you want to say something about the police, or did you want to say
No, I just
defend them?
people. It's like Michael Cox said, and it's like the description Rich gave. We're dealing with people, and people are all unique. They all stuff comes up, and right now in these crazy times, when stuff comes up, their threshold to let's call going into a dark place is lower. I have one right now where we had a candidate that we got everything done, we got it signed, we were ready to get the offer signed, and all of a sudden he totally dropped off the radar. And turned out it's similar to Rich. It was something happened to his mom and his brother. He had to go back to another city, and just all we know is he admitted, look, I went down a rabbit hole and I don't know when I'm going to get out of it right now. And I'm sorry, this is not like me. As a candidate, he was on point, good communication, good timing, good candidate. It happens. And right now, I mean, with Rich's candidate, I feel bad. I actually feel bad for the guy, because the best thing that maybe he could have done is extended the start date. And that might have been a glimmer of
Yeah, these
light.
candidates, it's something wrong with them. Okay,
Yeah,
I don't
he literally, the guy
understand.
was literally losing it because there was just all this shit at once. And
Hey,
it's
let me
hard.
ask you. This is the question I like to ask. Do you say what the fuck and shit? Do you talk like that? You talk like that to your candidates?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I talk like this. I just talked to a venture capital guy in Israel. We had the same similar conversation. People suck. This is life. Listen, we're startups. You're gonna run into a lot of shit.
Michael G.
It-
Cox, do you do it?
It's
too?
all how you say it. You're
You
not
say-
saying
That
it.
was some.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
some. Okay, but
With
you
some,
you
yeah.
watch yourself, right? You watch yourself. Is that what you're
These are
saying?
Mike's a
people
much
you got to
faster guy than
gauge.
me.
Dude,
Oh,
I don't think I
I
changed
don't
the
think
way I
Rich
speak
gauges.
very much
I don't
with
think
anybody.
Rich gauges. Rich sounds unfiltered to me. Okay.
Yeah.
Rich is rich.
I just want-
I am what I am, good or bad.
okay. Now here's
There you
the
go,
thing.
Popeye.
I'm going to do an
Yeah.
ad.
Ooh, nice.
Staffingdebt.com. I don't have to worry about them. No, okay, the
I
other
like the
reason no
dojo.
one's ever paid me. Okay, but staffingdebt.com. If you are an agency recruiter and somebody cheats you, oh, Rich is here. Rich actually endorses them, don't you?
Who?
Staffing Debt, Wilson Cole.
Staffing that? Oh, Wilson Cole. Yeah, Wilson Cole's great.
Okay, because all they do is collections for
Mention
recruiting
my referral though
agencies.
if you're going to use this though.
What? You want me
A
to
referral fee if
He actually has to build these guys.
I never
first,
build
man.
these guys. Actually, with Wilson, I said, look, just put an ad in your magazine, and I've never sent him the ad. Okay, so staffingdebt.com, you got
The blank square.
an endorsement from Rich, the most famous, one of the most famous recruiters in the world. Okay. PCrecruiter.net. I'll do it at the same time. They are a configurable, versatile recruiting software. They don't impose their workflow mechanism on you. You get to configure the software. And if you are afraid of the word configure, or I don't know how to do anything with software, they'll help you. Okay. If you're a recruiter, they love you. Big or small, they help them all. If you're a kitchen table recruiter like Jerry, okay, he's down there with his guns in his office. Okay, if you're by yourself, that's no problem. If you're in a big team, that's no problem. They love you. If you're a recruiter, they love you. PCrecruiter.net. I've got 2 more ads to do. Please, someone remind me. Okay, we're all wearing masks here now. Isn't that great? Okay, next question. Somebody said, and I think this was interesting, a recruiter's mission is to prioritize the candidate's best interests. Everybody laughed, but I agreed. Michael G. Cox, do you understand the question? Do I have to explain it, or do you want to comment? The candidate
to
comes
prioritize
first. The candidate comes first, and I'll tell you why that sounds good to me. It's because if the candidate's not
That
happy,
sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. If the candidate's not happy, it's not going to be a good hire. Okay. You don't seem to agree. Do you want to say why? If you can't, we'll pass on.
Because the candidate isn't actually your client. The candidate. You're charged with the introduction, brokering the conversation. The client is actually the one that's actually going to pay you.
Okay.
I mean,
What he's
it's
paying
like
for
HR
is a
people
good
within.
fit. What he's paying for is finding a good fit. If the candidate isn't really happy, it's not a good fit. Okay. So
Correct, but that's just one piece of the equation, and it's not the most important piece of the equation. It's just a piece of it, man.
No.
And by the way, a happy candidate versus a happy client, which would you rather have?
Okay, yeah, what I'm saying is if you've got a happy candidate, you've got a happy client. That's what I believe. Okay, Michael G.
Yeah,
Cox
sure.
making faces. Okay, anybody else want to chime in? Nobody.
Hey, one more thing about that. It's kind of like HR works for you. No, man, HR works for the organization.
Absolutely.
It
Yeah.
exists to keep the organization running smoothly, and its purpose, part of its purpose, is to make sure it is to serve the organization. That's it.
Yeah, you got to treat your candidates well, but I mean, at the end of the day, the client's paying you. I mean, the
Hey,
candidate
get
will
that
pay you tomorrow.
dog off the screen. Get that dog. I don't want to see that. Come on.
Is that better?
Anything's better, okay?
There we go. How's that one?
People. These are people I call friends. They. Okay.
Yeah. I just goes where it goes.
Yeah, right. Okay, look. Somebody else want to comment on that? Like, oh, I gave my opinion. Okay, here's
the thing, dude. Things like that. It sounds really nice. It's like Simon Sinek. His entire career is based on saying things that sound nice. Like you don't hire for skill, you hire for attitude. You can always train skill. Like, bro, ain't nobody actually gonna pay somebody because he's got a great attitude and doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
Exactly.
Stupid.
Hey, nice. I agree. Okay. Here, explain your preference on LinkedIn. This is what you said, Michael G. Cox. I've used Sales Navigator, Recruiter.
By the way, these conversations right here make me want to never post anything ever again.
Why?
Why? As soon as you say you posted, I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I post?
Why don't you say why don't you say Recruiting Animal actually cares about me. He actually looked into the things I'm interested in and is giving me, he's feeding me questions.
That's not why you did it.
No. Yeah, you're wrong. Here's the thing. He's feeding me questions that he knows I've already thought about so I can give an answer to without, being stuck. Okay. I'll perform well. I like
would you not agree that on the day of you posted on the website known as, and your statement of fact was, is this
I
true?
do not recall the incident in question. What is the definition of is?
Yeah.
Okay, you guys just have it wrong. Okay.
Go ahead. What did I post?
No matter what I say, if I say Amy cries and nobody else, the man does, I get in trouble, even though everybody knows it's true. Okay. Although I'll tell you something, she might cry, but she's pretty tough at the same time. She has told us how tough she is. Okay.
I don't think those are real tears. They're not real tears.
Oh, I believe it. And she's going to be a guest. I'll take it up with her as well in the near future, in case anybody wants to go after me for this. Okay. Here's what you said, Michael G. Cox. I've used Sales Navigator, Recruiter, Recruiter Lite, and even Recruiter Professional Services. I think Sales Navigator is the best option for sales and recruiting. Is that so bad? Do you agree with it now, or have you changed your mind?
Yeah. Okay. You're right. That wasn't that bad. And I agree.
You know what I like? The best thing about this, as opposed to just being on the phone, I can mime the words. Right? I don't have to say it. Okay, and then you guys can figure it out anywhere, or the dummies won't get it, but the smart people will. Okay, look, why is Sales Navigator good? Okay, and Rich, I just want to say, you said you came to listen. You didn't want to show us your face. If you want to check out at any time, that's okay.
I'm enjoying myself. I'm just adding Zoom backgrounds, so the next time I don't get criticized for the ugly walls. That's all right.
Okay. Michael G. Cox. So Sales Navigator is the one. Why?
It has just as much capability as you need to do your job. And if you're a recruiter, the overwhelming majority of your time is probably going to be spent on the biz dev side anyway. And as a recruiter, you can run your searches on trying to generate candidate lists and all that in Sales Nav. So
Anybody else want to comment?
And
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
you
Finish,
don't
Joe.
need the full recruiter. I agree. Nav is Nav. I mean, I have Nav. I don't really use it, but I have it just for the extra in-mails when I get last resorts. You need an in-mail.
last resort, as a last resort, the in-mail, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Alan Fleur, you're using like the full deck, aren't
I
you?
use the full recruiter because I'm internal, and
Yeah.
Yeah, if someone else paid for it, sure.
yeah, sure. But if I could re-spend the money, I'd spend it on something like, Seek Out or Hire Tool or something where I could just get the names, because in my sector, it's all about the relationships and the connections, personal emails, personal cells. Done.
Okay, so you're not
Yep.
like a Rich Rosen, the world's greatest. You actually want to have tools. You come out clearly and say, yeah, I need tools to get me the contact information.
No, I don't. I can use the free ones, but the Hire, as an example, Hire Tool and Seek Out, they just cut it down, and then I don't have to go look at 10 different things or whatever to find the phone numbers. It's like, boom, all the variations, all the possibilities are there in one spreadsheet, and now I can just dial. But I've been in my sector long enough where if I need to get a hold of Animal and I'm not connected to him and I don't have his phone number, well, chances are good that Rich or Mike knows him and they've got him in their cell phone. So I text him and say, hey, I need Animal's phone number, and 10 minutes later, I got it. I got your V card.
I don't believe that. Okay, I just don't
Alan's done
believe.
it for me. You've texted me for people.
Okay.
Hey,
Okay,
Y'all
but
gotta
you know
help.
what? He gave me a great opportunity to do my ad for Hire Tool.
Hey, can we do an ad
HIRE
for Hire Tool?
HIRETUAL.
Can we charge them for this?
We were just one day I will. We were just talking about Amy. Amy, one of the greatest recruiters in the world, in my opinion. Okay, I don't know what Forbes says about her, but she uses Hire Tool. When she's on the show, she always endorses it. Okay, and lots of other great recruiters. Alan Fleur just mentioned Seek Out. Hey, I'm sure it's a great tool, but I want you to know, anytime there's a discussion of great sourcing tools on Facebook, Hire Tool is always raved about by
It is.
high-profile recruiters. Okay, Hire Tool, HIRETUAL.com. I'll get to Hone It, HONEIT.com in a few minutes. Okay, candidate prep. Okay, what kinds of things do you do to brief your candidate before their interview with your client to make sure they are prepared to rock it? I know what Michael G. Cox said. Okay, do you want me to quote you, or do you want to tell us yourself?
I want to hear the quote first.
Yeah. Quote.
Yeah, let's hear the quote first. I can't wait to hear what I
And
said.
actually, you've got something else aside from this that is also very interesting. Hopefully, I'll remember to get to it. But right now, I'll read this.
Yeah, hopefully.
I review with them. It's an odd word order there. Okay, Mike, you're in Texas. Okay, I review with them the 3 to 5 major accomplishments that they must realize in the first 3, 6, or 12 months. Got those from the intake session. They become the 3 or 5 areas they must hit on before the end of each face-to-face interview with that client. Is that all you do? Can you give us an example?
Sounds like some great advice right there.
Stud.
okay.
Put that up.
I love it.
Want to spell it out?
Well,
Can you give
here's
us
the
an
thing, dude.
example?
Why does the position exist? Have you done these things before to a certain level of desired success? Talk about that, and do so concisely.
Okay, you said something, but here's what you say you want to see from job hunters. You had another posting about it. Practice. This is what you say. Hey, job hunters, practice articulating what each of your previous employers intended you to accomplish when they hired you. Then you need to know exactly what you actually accomplished. I'm so tired of candidates who don't even know what they did for the past 5 to 10 years. What are you talking about there? You sound pissed off. Most candidates, that's what you're saying, don't know how to tell you what their goals were and how close they came to accomplishing them.
I don't care about their goals as much as what they actually accomplished. So
good.
Well,
Here's
no,
the
no,
thing.
I meant the
Look at a
company
resume.
goals. Okay, the company's goals
Okay.
for them.
Look at, and again, I don't care about that. That's duties and responsibilities, and that's what every resume and LinkedIn profile is typically chock full of. And that's all that's telling me is that's what you were hired to do. Okay, great. But what did you actually do? What did you actually accomplish? And since you're in sales, give me some numbers, percentages, dollar amounts,
Know your
grew
numbers.
territory by this much.
Yeah.
As opposed to basically, I mean, it almost looks as though some candidates just copy and paste from the job description that they applied to into their resume. And again, all that saying is what your employer or your previous employer, current or previous, wanted you to do. What did you actually accomplish? That's what matters.
Okay, but how do you know with these, especially with these sales reps who have a reputation, you guys can attest to it or not, for lying, okay? How do you know that their numbers are valid? They're not empty boasts.
Yeah. You got to back through their numbers. If they tell you, oh, I did it, I made $500,000. All right. Well, how'd you get there? You tell me
How many deals was that? How big were your deals? And like a rapid succession. Okay, what was the solution? I mean, 500,000. Like Rich mentioned, my quota was $500,000. Okay, in some spaces, that's like an eighth of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you got to know which space they're in, the typical deal size, the typical deal complexity, and sales cycle. And then you say, oh, well, yeah, I had an $8 million quota. Okay, what was your typical deal size? And you can figure out, okay, how many deals did you make? And if this stuff isn't adding up, or it doesn't jive with the work that they were actually supposed to be doing, whether it's in the printer industry or business process outsourcing or software or SaaS, it's all different, man.
Hold on. So do you say to them then, hey, your numbers don't add up? Okay. Do you nail them on that? Hey, you did $1 million in sales. Now you're telling me this crap is nothing. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you got to do it because otherwise the client's going to catch it. Your client's going to be like,
Rich, what happens?
Yeah, dude, you're going to look stupid.
Okay, what happens when you say, hey, dummy?
well,
You can't bullshit me.
No, you don't say that. Hey, man, hey, look, I'm a recruiter because I wasn't really good at math. Maybe help me understand, because you said a few minutes ago when we were talking, you mentioned that your typical deal size is, $500,000. Okay, but then you told me that you had 5 major deals. Each one of them you said was 1.2 million. I'm like, how something ain't adding up. Help me to understand, because right now the way it stands, I don't really feel comfortable moving forward with this because this isn't adding up.
Okay, and will they ever get mad at you and say, Michael G. Cox, you're an asshole? And then they go to Twitter and say, scumbag recruiter accused me of lying and stuff like that?
No. Scumbag recruiter is Rich's handle.
That's his handle. Yeah.
The only guys that ever get mad are the guys that you catch lying.
Yeah.
The guys that are telling you the truth.
So you just shrug. Okay.
No. They don't get mad on the phone though.
No.
I never hear people talking smack, directly to me. Maybe they'll say something. I've had people say things online. Glassdoor, way to go. But they'll e-thug on me, but they never say anything face to face or on the phone.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, but you never had people be like, oh, listen, I'm not going to explain it to you. I blah, blah, blah. They get all defensive. I mean, standard lying, the standard liar who gets defensive because you called them out on their bullshit.
The closest I've come to that was a dude that used to call himself, or maybe still does, but many years ago, he would call himself the Rainmaker. Man, I'm the Rainmaker. I'm going to make rain. I'm like, okay, that's awesome. How?
Yeah.
How do you do this? Look, man, I get appointments, man, and I do this. Okay, so what did you sell? Like, no, dude, doesn't make sense. Look, this isn't making sense. I'm really getting annoyed by the whole Rainmaker thing. Well, you clearly, and he just got pissed off, but that happens rarely for me. I don't know. Maybe
so you are willing to tell a candidate on the phone that you're annoying me. Is that what you're saying?
Well, with this guy, he was very annoying. What was I going to say? You're not annoying?
Okay,
I can't send you. I literally told him, look, I can't send you in front of my the general manager, sales director, whatever they used to call him. they would. I can't put you in front of them if you're going to call yourself a rainmaker, because then I have to answer for that. So I can't do that. Are you going to stop calling yourself that?
Or turn it around on
And
the
I don't know,
candidate.
maybe he was just.
Alan, hold on
This
to
is
that. I got
weird,
to do my
man.
final ad, but before the ad, I want to just remind everybody the big takeaway from this show is, we always hear about ghosting. If your candidate is ghosting you, call the cops on him. Okay, that's the big lesson. I never heard it anywhere else except from our honored caller today. Okay, that
was
will
awesome.
work. The guy actually called him. Okay, when he was having all these terrible. He was having all the terrible troubles. The cops got through. Okay.
It worked to a certain extent. He actually didn't get the placement out of that one.
So at least he got the
closure.
guy.
I just needed closure. You already knew it wasn't going to close. I mean, if the guy's not getting back to you, it's all about the closure.
Hey, maybe the fridge fell on him and he was trapped. Okay.
Exactly.
Once he was
who
free.
knows? We were taking bets around the dinner table. What would happen? What happened to the guys?
If he hadn't answered the door, would the cops have busted in?
I think they've got to look. They can. I don't know if they can bust in, but they can look around.
Oh, that's why you said no SWAT. Okay,
Yeah.
you don't want to shoot.
Yeah.
You don't want to shoot them. Okay, hone it, everybody. HONEIT.com. It's the online interview technology. If you get the candidate to call the number, you call the number. It records everything you say. You can have video just like this if you want. It turns everything into a readable transcript that you can edit and send over to your hiring committee, whoever's involved. And it's called HoneIt, HONEIT.com. They like to say it's created by recruiters for recruiters. What a tagline. Okay.
Excellent.
And Alan Fleur, do you have a question for Michael G. Cox before the session ends?
I was just saying, I turn it around on the candidate. I make them answer it. Say, look, here's what I'm hearing, and here's what the job entails. What I'm not hearing from you is X. So how can I bring you to the table and put you in front of them, because it's a legitimate question for them to be able to dig into. And right now, and maybe I'm missing it, explain it to me. And on the other side, it might also mean that, the way you're communicating might need to be edited. And make that, put it back in their thing. I'm the rainmaker. Well, great, just like Michael did. Ask him questions. Well, I've built this hotel. Well, good. What did you do with it? What was your participation in it?
This makes me ask another good question that I wouldn't have thought of.
You're
What
welcome.
if you decide, this person he doesn't have it, okay? Either because he's a kook like the rainmaker, or he just can't explain it well enough for you and say, look, I'm sorry, I can't present you. Okay, how do you turn them off? Like, not, what I said I got in trouble for was talking about when you turn off a candidate who's actually gone in for the interviews. But how do you talk to a candidate who's very interested in the job, telling you, what he or she does, and then you say, I don't think you're the right candidate? How do you do that, Alan?
Well, I think we have differences here because Rich and Michael are working in the sales area and I'm not. So, even when I was at the commercial real estate firm, what I would do is I'd say, look, I'm not seeing it. But then again, maybe I'm missing it. I will show you I will show your stuff to the hiring manager. I'll get back to you in 2 days. And at times I knew the person wasn't qualified. I was good enough to know that. I call them in 2 days. They said no. Other times when I thought, maybe there's some gray area here. Maybe there's something, and I would rather have the hiring manager tell me no than
Well, let me ask you, why would you even tell them then that, hey, it doesn't sound like it to me, and just say, okay, great, thanks for the interview. I'll present it to the hiring manager and see what she says. So if you why don't you just let her take the blame for everything rather than saying in advance, you know what, I don't think you're that good.
You're prepping the conversation.
Yeah, that one I'd rather blame on somebody else. Michael G. Cox, what's your take there?
Oh, when I'm having a conversation with an individual that it clearly isn't a fit, no, it sounds like this position would be either a step back or a step too far for you. And because of that, I don't think we can move forward.
And they never push back. They never push back.
Oh, always. No, not always. They'll agree sometimes, and sometimes they will push back. No, I think, well, all right, that's great. Help me understand, because again, we said that the position is here, and we agree that you're here, where am I off here? And it's all of this stuff is figure outable through a quick.
You just gave me an idea before we go
conversation.
to Rich for his reply, which I can kind of guess. Okay. Okay. It's I got this thing is, look, please don't make me cry. Okay. I can't stand the stress. You say they push back. You should. I can't take it. I don't think you're a fit. Please don't. Okay, Rich, what do you say to them?
I mean,
I'm not going to argue with you, okay? That's what Rich said. Fuck off.
It really depends, but usually I just sound, listen, you know, honestly, we've got stronger guys in the mix, or if they've already the first interview, listen, the other guys just came out a little stronger. You know, most guys get it, and you know, they know they were a stretch for it, or you know, they know they just wasn't a fit. I mean, like I had
but do you ever say anything to let them down easy? Like, you know what, maybe we can do business on something else in the future.
And I'm not saying, well, he's not saying no, you're dead to me. He's saying no for this.
Because they hear that,
moment.
Alan. That's
No,
what
but
they
you know
hear.
what? But you always got to keep them, if they're good enough to send out to one client, they're probably good enough to send out to another client. So you don't want to piss them off.
Okay,
You know, but you just-
don't you guys find that people are sensitive? If you say no, they exaggerate. Like they take it like the way
Like
Alan
Amy,
just
Amy
said.
who cries apparently. So I mean, they're very sensitive now. But you know, but you got to keep everyone happy for the long term. So I mean, there's very few candidates I would only send out once, unless it was a very specific need for a very specific company. So I mean, listen, you always have to look to the future. You're not trying to burn your bridges with either side.
It's hard not to. That's what I'm saying. Do you have a
But it's
question
not.
for
But
Mike?
that's the thing.
You
If
have
you
a
just say, hey, listen, it's just, hey, listen, they had some stronger guys for this fit, you know, for this opportunity. If they ask why, they said more experience here or there, or it
I
just.
think, you know, Rich, you shouldn't appear on video. You look too bulky. You scare me. Okay, if I wouldn't.
I've been trying to lose weight.
Stop
Come
hitting
on,
the gym,
man.
Rich.
Yeah.
Damn.
Do you have a question for Michael G. Cox?
Rich
Rich.
is thick.
No, me. Do I have a question for Michael
yeah.
G. Cox?
We're wrapping up the show.
No. Unless Michael wants to help me with a couple of searches, I'm good.
Do you want to criticize
game,
me?
man.
Do you want to
Hey,
I want to
criticize?
criticize him. I mean, I do love the dojo background. I gotta tell you.
Like that?
Why? Or do you do
No shoes on the mat.
Do you do
I do
jujitsu?
not, but I am watching The Warrior on HBO Max, which is all Bruce Lee stuff, you know.
Okay. Michael G. Cox, MikeRecruiter.com, RecruiterAl.com, CornerstoneSearch.org.
Hey, remember the salesrecruiter.com. Hey, by the way, I tried picking up something like your sales recruiter. I don't know which one you got, Rich, but you got one before I did.
Yes.
I was like, oh, this bastard.
The is better.
It goes directly to his LinkedIn. Yeah, so I had to go with the salesrecruiter.com.
That's better than your. That's better. Okay, I'm the guy who can tell you that's better than your.
I wanted them all.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
I don't think it gets any traffic, so don't worry, Mike.
Everybody, say goodbye to the audience. It's been so nice having you all.
Bye,
here,
audience.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Come on, Michael G. Cox. At the end, you screwed me at the beginning.